Good. Roll call.
Councilwoman Cohen,
Present.
Councilman Pritchett,
Present.
Councilman Staglitt,
Present.
Mayor Janjua.
Present. Public announcement.
In compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting of the Township Council was provided in the following manner. On January 8th, 2024, advance written notice of this meeting was posted on the bulletin board in the Mount Laurel Municipal Center, and copies were sent to the Burlington County Times and the Courier Post.
Approval of bill list. Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Councilwoman Cohen,
Aye.
Councilman Staglitt,
Aye.
Councilman Pritchett,
Aye.
Mayor Janjua.
Aye. Approval of minutes. Can I get a motion?
I'll motion.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Staglitt,
Aye.
Councilman Pritchett,
Aye.
Councilwoman Cohen,
Aye.
Mayor Janjua.
Aye. We're going to have a consent resolution for 24-R-169 through 24-R-168.
Okay, so 169 is setting trick or treat and mischief night curfew hours. 170, 171, 172, 173, and 174 are vet deduction resolutions. 175 is awarding easement fence with the engineer recommendation. 176 is the release of a performance bond recommended by the township engineer. 177 is repealing a section that says we have a public dump. 178 is approving a change order recommended by the township engineer. 179 is rejecting trash bids. We went out to see if we could get a lower rate, and they came in higher, so we extended for our last and final year of the current trash contract. 180 is awarding jobs for Blue. These are off-duty police employment jobs. It is a program that will be used, and the fee for the program will be $0 to the municipality. They will be paid by the company in which is hiring the off-duty police officer. 181 is approving a $7,000 grant for Labor Day crackdown. 182 is we went out for EMS billing. Our contract was expiring. We were able to get a 2.9% rate, which is less than what we're paying right now with the same company. 183 is awarding bathrooms for Spencer Park. 184 is an addendum to the CWA supervisor's contract. 185, and just a note for the public, this is a dedication by rider, and there's a change from what's in the packet, and the only change is just the code that the state wants us to use. It's NJAC 7:8. This is to take in money for trees that is now set by the required ordinance required by the state. 186 is for us to apply for the Safe and Secure Community Grant.
Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Get a second?
I'll second.
Councilwoman Cohen,
Aye.
Councilman Pritchett,
Aye.
Councilman Staglitt,
Aye.
Mayor Janjua.
Aye. We have an ordinance for first reading, ordinance 2024-14.
Municipal Stormwater Control Ordinance.
Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve with a publication date of September 23rd, 2024, and a public hearing date of November 18th, 2024.
Get a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Pritchett,
Aye.
Councilman Staglitt, Councilwoman Cohen,
Aye.
Mayor Janjua.
Aye. Now we're going to go to open up for public participation. Please come to the microphone, state your name and your address.
And just a reminder for the public, there's a 3-minute speaking limit. I will give you a 1-minute notice, a 1-minute warning.
Jeff Cleaver, 661 Cornwallis Drive.
Can you please spell your name, please?
KLIWER.
Thank you.
Begin time now.
Mhm.
Thank you for your willingness to listen to our concerns. Being informed that this council had nothing to do with the declaring of a book sanctuary for our library, Cornerstone Church is appearing before you today with no complaint against this body. Rather, we are here to raise awareness and request your help. We need you to step in and reverse the library's political and religious action to proclaim itself a book sanctuary. The library's decision was political because it's part of a nationwide political movement. It is religious because the term sanctuary means holy place. Since the library is funded by our tax dollars, we are appearing before you. Our desire is to protect the children of Mount Laurel from inappropriate pornographic books like this one, Flamer, by Mike Corrado. When I asked the librarian to find it for me, she told me that, of course, they have it, but it was checked out. I also asked the librarian for two of the most prominent best-selling books on sexual identity from the conservative point of view, but the library did not carry those books. The library did, however, have Gender Queer and Flamer. Being that these books are checked out, we can assume that boys and girls right now are being exposed to the contents of these books this week. The librarian did retrieve for me another copy of Flamer, which I have in my possession, the large print edition, which I would now like to submit to the board for your review, calling particular attention to page 131, and noting that the librarian said that 13-year-olds are allowed to check out this book. Conservatives across the country have challenged many books. The top 5 challenged have been number 1, Gender Queer, with 106 challenges in 2023. Number 2, All Boys Aren't Blue, with 82 challenges. Number 3, This Book is Gay, with 71 challenges. Number 4, The Perks of Being a Wallflower, with 68 challenges. And number 5, Flamer, with 67 challenges. Please note that Catcher in the Rye
1 minute.
and To Kill a Mockingbird are not on this list. If any librarians condescendingly claim that conservatives are trying to ban the classics, please be willing to see through that thinly veiled political maneuver. We are trying to protect children from indecent exposure. Please help us by seeing to it that our children are kept safe from the above-mentioned books. Return this book, if you will, to the library, or deposit it where it belongs, in a trash receptacle, but I never want to see this book again. My eyes are scarred, but my hands are clean. It is now up to you to clean your hands of this filth as well. As our representatives, please take the book sanctuary stick out of our eyes and take these books out of the reach of minors. Thank you. I would also be willing to answer any questions or clarify any statements if you have them at this time.
Are you giving us the book?
Please.
Mhm.
You can give it to Mary.
Yeah, to the officer. Thank you.
I would like to speak. I'm Councilwoman Cohen. Just going to read a sentence from a book that I read as a youngster. It was a bright, cold day in April, and the clocks were striking 13. Anybody? Anybody know the first sentence of the book? Anybody here? 1984 by George Orwell. He spoke about totalitarianism, fascism, and barring people from material because you deem it objectionable is what he was writing about, what he was talking about. The library has a collection policy. Are you aware of it? Did you read it? Yes, and I do too. So, I will read a paragraph. The library does not assume the role of the parent, but rather encourages parents to be involved with their children's use of the library and to guide their child's selection of library materials in supporting their individual family values. Library staff does not monitor the materials children choose to check out. The responsibility, let me underline that, for the reading and viewing choices of children rests with parents and legal guardians. That is in their collection policy, available for anyone to go look at. Okay. My question to you is, are you presuming to be my children's guardian or my children's parent? Are you presuming to tell my children what they should read? Are you the arbiter of, or the judge of what is appropriate in my household?
I am saying that there are standards of decency to which all of us are subject in this universe. And if you would be so kind, please read to us page 131 of Flamer. Presently, it's in your possession.
This is actually not an equivalency of what I just asked you, and you did not answer my question. Are you deeming yourself the judge and the arbiter of what my children read? I'm asking you a question. Please answer. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm answering your question respectfully. The book that I have brought to your attention, page 131, is objectively, according to all standards of decency around the world, to be regarded as indecent exposure of children. And I'm very dismayed that you wouldn't want to read that to us because you have that in the 13-year-old up section at Mount Laurel Library. So if it cannot be read out loud here, why is it available to children there?
You are still not answering my question. You are still dodging it with what you call subjective, what I call subjective. Your comment. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to fight you on this. I
Well,
am
it
going to
sounds
tell
like
you, I'm going to continue talking. Thank you. When I was a kid, I went to school and my teacher said, "You are not to read Judy Blume books. They are inappropriate and they are not for you." The one that she was referring to was, "Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret," about a girl menstruating. I went home, told my mom, "I'm not allowed to read this book." My mom put me in the car along with my 5 siblings. We went to the library and she checked out all of the Judy Blume books she could get a hold of because my mother was in charge of what I was reading outside of school, not my teacher at school. And my mother made sure that I had access to library materials that she deemed fit. That's who my mother was. My mother was in charge, and my father, of what I was reading, not a person at a church, not a person at a school, but my own parents were in charge of it. The library collection policy discusses this more than once in their policy, that the parents and the guardians are in charge of what children read. Children need to have access if they are allowed to have access by their parents. Okay. Nowhere in there does it say that any material that we find other people find objectionable means that parents are not allowed to decide that. You are also welcome to object to the things that the library has. There is in here as well. And their committee will decide whether that is appropriate to have out on the shelves. But one of the things I love most about our town is our library. I was a library board trustee from 2013 until I became a council member. I love our library. I think it's one of the best things we have in our town. And one of the things I love best about our library, besides our wonderful staff, the library trustees, all the people who come, all the programming we have, is that the people are allowed to access what is appropriate for them and what they decide is appropriate for their children.
Your anger and indignation is duly noted, but I would reiterate that there are certain standards beneath which we are not to delve, such as page 131 of the book Flamer. Township Clerk, would you kindly read that page? It's less than 50 words in total.
No.
And I will also
I'll
say,
submit the
you don't
book.
get,
I will
Counsel,
keep the book.
Counsel, I would remind
in
you that
the-
this is public comment period. This is not a debate period.
yes, you're right.
I will keep the book on record for today's minutes in case anybody wants to come in and read that section.
Thank you, ma'am.
Brian List, 504 Meadow Court. Public spaces should protect the First Amendment. Certainly explicit and salacious media should not be available in our libraries, certainly not funded with tax dollars. Libraries' goal of opposing censorship and protecting the freedom to read seems reasonable, but there should be limits, or there are no limits. How does the government decide what to allow? How can I protect my children from unapproved exposure? How do I approve of minors having unfiltered access to this content? Minors and their parents should decide, which goes along with you, what type of media is reasonable and seek it out at their discretion. It is not the government's role to provide all things to all people. What about explicit and salacious media for adults or other groups or other freedom of expression of various social and antisocial opposition groups? I do not want a special area within the public library where adults can gather to research or express their explicit or salacious interests. What is it going to look like, and how would that benefit the community? As a parent, my wife and I decide what is appropriate for our children. If it's difficult enough, it is difficult enough for my children, to find inappropriate online content. I do not want them to have access to unfiltered content. Unfortunately, there are plenty of websites and special interest can get their content. These adults and minors can go to a bookstore to view and purchase what they want. Regarding minors, our community should strive to strengthen the family unit. Minors should go to their parents, guardians, physicians, clergy, or counsel for guidance. I'm against public funding for this application of the
I want to thank you for this opportunity to come before you. And Councilwoman Cohen,
Your name?
thank
Can you
you.
state your name? And
my name is John Laskin, Lasken. I'm at 701 Decatur Drive. And I want to say thank you for this opportunity. And Councilwoman Cohen, I want to thank you for your very appropriate comments.
Thank you.
The library should be a representative of literature and of opportunities for our youth to be able to explore truth. Now, if there is one side of a debate presented to the exclusion of the other side, the pursuit of truth is stilted. I think we would agree on that. So my question is, perhaps you are not the right ones to answer this, but you can direct us to where we would get this answer. Will the Mount Laurel Library accept and include within any sanctuary display books that express a biblical view of gender identity, or will the library discriminate against those kind of books?
I'll answer you. So the library is a separate entity
Mhm.
from the township. They receive funding that is calculated by the state that comes out of your tax check and goes to them. We have no control over what they buy. They're an independent board. They do meet monthly. So I would urge any comments or questions that you have, you bring them up at the library board. They meet once a month, and I believe their schedule's on their website. But the town council does not make the decisions as to what is purchased for the library, what is housed in the library, or what policies or what resolutions are adopted. That is done by the library board, and they have their own attorney, their own board, and a director, and those questions should be directed towards them.
I thank you. That's a very good answer. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So we will look up on that. And I would only ask, and perhaps it's a rhetorical question, would the town council support the equal and both sides presentation of literatures so that the biblical viewpoint can be expressed as well as the other viewpoint? As Mr. Cleaver pointed out, the biblical viewpoint apparently is not being presented at the library. Thank you very much.
I would support it because that's
Thank you.
the whole point, is to have both sides of the both perspectives available at the library. And that's the point that Ms. Cohen made too. Councilwoman Cohen made, is that, resources should be available and people decide which ones they want to check out and read, and parents decide which ones their kids are exposed to. So yeah, I would support it.
Thank you, Mayor. I
Yeah.
just want to make sure I heard what you said correctly. You as the mayor, speaking perhaps for the town council.
I'm speaking for myself.
Okay, you as the mayor would support.
I don't want to speak on behalf
No,
of.
I can follow
behalf
up
of-
what the mayor's saying too. And I was going to save this for my closing because I'm going to be
Mm.
honest with you, be transparent. It's the first I'm hearing about this. So I'm catching,
Yeah,
kind of caught me off
so
guard.
am I. So
If you see me scribbling notes, it's because I'm just writing my thoughts as I'm hearing what you guys are saying. I completely agree with the mayor. I don't believe in banning books
Mhm.
in any shape or form. If there's vehemently a book like disgusting and vile, like Mein Kampf is in the library, it needs to be there. Books are not to be banned. So if there are any perspectives of running the gambit, because the library is there for education as much as humanly possible, I'm with the mayor in that regard. I don't think that there should be a discriminatory basis of books. Libraries are supposed to be overall, to use the term that we're talking about, sanctuary,
Mhm.
a sanctuary for learning, for reading, to pick up the book, vehemently disagree with it and put it down, or to hear from a different perspective. I think that's one of the best aspects of reading and learning and education is developing your opinion after reading as much content as humanly possible, or seeing as much as you can. So no, I agree with the mayor. I don't think there should be any basis of And that's, again, speaking individually, not for anybody in the governing body. I just don't think there should be banning of any kind of books. Even books that, again, I vehemently find disgusting or awful. I just don't think that we should ban books. It's just not who I am.
I am very encouraged by your response that we would be able, with your support, or at least your acknowledgement,
Yeah,
to encourage the library to include biblical value books. Thank you very much.
of course. Thank you. Saying that there's nobody else who would like to, oh, okay. Hi.
Hi,
Name and
my name
address.
is Heather Malage. I am a mom of 9 children, and this subject concerns me greatly because I'm concerned about my 7-year-old son having access to things that I thought I could go on a Saturday and he would be protected from. I thought that was the whole point of a children's section in a library, to be like, I understand the idea of having knowledge and having free speech, but there is a time and a place for knowledge, and there's a difference between knowledge and wisdom. Wisdom is something that you can withdraw on 200 years ago, and it'll be present 200 years from now. But I think like the flood of knowledge that's coming through, not only through the media, but through technology and through the written word, is very, like, should be protected for the children's sake. And I know that you guys say you're not in control of the library, but I just know that you are in control of a lot of things that the town does and what is accessible, and I just would like you to consider that.
Thank you, Heather.
Hello, my name's Joe Gormley, and I attend Cornerstone Church
Your Address, please.
in Mount Laurel,
Your address, please.
511 Chanticleer. So I'm wondering, does the board have any decency standards in Mount Laurel? Are there any decency standards that are on the books that you guys are in control of, maybe for
When you say decent,
pornography shops? Is there any standard
Yeah, George.
that you would intervene?
Most municipalities have a standard for pornography shops or things of that sort because of the case law that exists in the world. If we don't allow it in one spot, it's allowed everywhere in town. So it's isolated in most towns, including Mount Laurel, to limit it in a location in town.
So there is a standard of what pornography is and is not?
No, not according to the Supreme Court.
Does Mount Laurel have a standard?
No, because the Supreme Court says you'll know it when you see it.
Mount Laurel, the Supreme Court of New Jersey
Supreme Court of the United States.
would have authority over
have?
over a standard like that
Yes,
in this situation?
yes, because they,
Well, I think
That's the Mount Laurel attorneys.
it should be also stated, like, so when we don't pass laws, we pass ordinances. If we pass an ordinance or a resolution, but it always has to follow the standard of the higher governing body. So the county or the state or the federal government. So we don't necessarily pass laws, or like we want to have like what we would call like a decency standard. We have to follow what the law would say. And then like George was kind of alluding to, then you would follow that ordinance. Then, so like the ordinance would say, okay, we know we don't have pornography shops or strip clubs in Mount Laurel, but like that, it's not necessarily like a law that we don't pass laws, we pass ordinance.
So your ordinance would have to meet the minimum standard. So the federal government might set a minimum standard of what pornography is, but you would have, as the lesser magistrate, the ability to add to those standards to
no,
make them.
it's the
more
reverse.
strict.
Municipalities are creatures of the state.
Mm.
They can only do what the state allows them.
So we can pass anything right now. We could say like tomorrow, oh, we're against this, this, and this. And then one of two things could happen. First of all, the state will contact somebody from the state, depending upon the department, would contact Meredith and say, or George, and say, what you just did was not legal, or we'll get sued. And then
Okay.
somebody comes around and say, well, this is why we're going to sue you. And then the township has to pay for it. So it's a little more complicated. I always say this to Mayor Janjua, and her and I always kind of talk about it. When people see the titles mayor and deputy mayor and councilman and stuff, they come with this kind of weight of, you kind of see these titles in popular culture for the last, for your entire life. You're like, oh, the mayor, the mayor.
Mhm.
I was literally watching Jaws with my family, and like the mayor was like, oh, keep the beaches open. And
Yeah.
they're like, what would you do, mayor? Because I served there too. And I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd go try to kill the shark. I don't know what the
Eh.
answer is. But that's kind of the thing. We rarely are kind of bound by what's higher than us. We have the ordinance.
I know that's a
and-
popular opinion amongst attorneys, but I think that there's a doctrine of the lesser magistrates that does give you more authority. But that's a legal question we don't have to get into. But what I would ask you is, you guys consider, as you're running for office and politicking, the issue specific to sanctuary libraries may have been a surprise today, but the issue in the culture is not.
Mhm.
Right? This has been an ongoing battle in the culture, and I would just suggest that you might want to contemplate: can a culture even fund a library if we can't have a standard? If we, as a culture, as a town, as a region, can't agree upon what standards of morality are, if we don't have an objective standard by which to stand upon, and that objective standard historically, for the founding of this country until very, very recently, has always been God's word, the Bible. Whether you're a Christian, a Jew, or a Muslim, they all tie back to Abraham and to a common set of laws. And we need to uphold those laws, or our city, county, state is going to crumble. So I would appeal to your better judgment to consider the doctrine of the lesser magistrates as you go forward, because you do have more power than you believe. Thank you.
Thank you.
To go ahead and close the public public participation portion. Comments by council? Meredith?
Just a reminder that Mount Laurel's Food Truck Festival is coming up, and we hope to see everybody there. It's on Sunday, the 29th, and it's at 100 Mount Laurel Road.
George?
I'm going to take a brief moment because there are people here tonight. Put on my Red Cross hat and remind everybody we're always in a blood shortage. Please go out and donate blood if you have a drive near you, desperately needed, and the Red Cross would appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi.
Kind of got by the participation quickly.
Oh,
Hey, Jerry.
Jerry, you can.
Popped on the thing at the venue and thought discuss something else. Gary Jones, 4515 Church Road. I'm hung up on Green Acres. I was on the county Green Acres Advisory Board, so I know the restrictions of Green Acres, and I know Green Acres. But the last time I was here, you folks commented that you had to sit in the car. You couldn't even talk to the head of Green Acres in Trenton. Am I right on that?
Well, we'll give you a little update. Assemblywoman Murphy was very helpful in getting a meeting last week with Green Acres, with some of the upper level, and they've agreed to for George to do a written appeal to the EMS building being on Green Acres. George is compiling all of the data that they asked us to compile and submit to them. And then they said they'll review our appeal and let us know.
Okay, so it's still up in the air. It's not a dead issue.
Not a dead issue. So, we're-
Because if they requested the township to separate it out before, and the manager, whoever it was, neglected to do it, they've already set a precedent that they wanted it separated. And I just, as a taxpayer, hate to see you spend a lot of money to replace a building unless that one building is not being served. Now, it was designed by the township and the first aids or EMS.
they won't take that argument, but there was a different approach George and I had, that it's on there, that it shouldn't be on there. that it was never meant to be on there, and we're compiling all, to make, without going into too much detail, it's a complicated situation. The block and lots were originally one thing and have changed multiple times over the years. So there's a lot of past data that we're pulling, minutes, resolutions, ordinances, deeds. And like I said, George's office is working on it. And well, I'll let you know the outcome of the appeal.
Keep after you.
Remember that the
Believe-
state does not work quickly.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thanks, Jerry.
Councilman Steglick?
First of all, I want to thank everybody for coming. Again, I apologize for being a little caught off guard by the subject matter at hand, but I do appreciate everybody coming. I honestly also, I mean this sincerely. Everyone has been very respectful coming to the microphone, disagreeing respectfully. I appreciate that. If you're going to go to the library board meeting to discuss, your concerns, I ask that you do the same thing. I mean that sincerely, because far too many times I think people disagree in a manner that is unbecoming of everybody, and I think everybody disagreed in a very polite and in a polite manner. And may not completely just agree, but I understand where you guys are coming from. Like I said, just to reiterate, no, I don't believe in banning any kind of book. If there's a book that you want to see in the library, I'm not sure what the policy looks like to donating it or having it on the shelf. That's something for the library. I'm open to everybody and any kind of book being accessible. Again, even the ones that I disagree with, there's plenty of books and content that I disagree with. I'm a Yankee fan. I don't want to see anything with the Boston Red Sox on it. I fiercely hate that team, but no, all jokes aside, anything that, even if I disagree with it, I welcome it in our library. So I recommend contacting the library board, seeing how you would donate books that you think should be in the library, haven't been there. Thank everybody for coming out. And I appreciate everybody taking the time on Monday, especially when the Eagles are playing on at 8:15. So I appreciate it. I am not. Thank you,
Councilman Pritchett?
Get too loud. Record.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
I'm not.
Just want to remind everybody, Halloween is coming. So in October, they have the annual trunk or treat at Chick-fil-A. Forget the date.
We have 2 days.
Yes, they're having 2 at both locations. We will post them on our website.
Yes, definitely come out. Great turnout for the kids. It's always a good thing to put smiles on kids' faces. Also, again, just like the councilman said, we was caught off guard with this. I'm a big person of pro-choice. Choose, like when you watch TV and see things on television. Parental guidance is advised. You have the choice to watch things. You have the choice to read things. You have the choice to go places you want to go or places you do not want to go. So just keep that in mind. Again, go to the library board meeting, discuss your concerns.
Public
Portion is closed, sir.
It's actually closed.
Jerry,
Yeah.
So with that being said, thank you all for coming and please get home safely.
Councilwoman Cohen?
Hello, everybody. Thank you for your comments. Even if I disagree with you, I respect that you have opinions, and I am always happy to listen to them. Hispanic Heritage Month started yesterday, and over the next 4 weeks, we recognize and celebrate the Hispanic and Latino contributions to the history and culture of the United States. Our social media pages are right now publicizing businesses around town with those connections. I'll reiterate the Food Truck Festival. It's a blast. There's going to be music, FM, which I'm very excited to listen to them. And there might be dancing. You might not want to watch me. But there will be lots of things for kids, lots of free events for kids. And it's at our municipal complex. And finally, I wish Shana Tova to all who celebrate during Rosh Hashanah. Thank you, and I hope everyone has a great rest of your evening.
Well, I want to thank everybody for coming out, especially all the congregants from Cornerstone Church. This is what we're here for, to listen to what you have to say. So I appreciate you coming out, taking the time to come out and share your opinions and share your concerns with us. It's heard. It's definitely heard. I'm a mother of 4 kids. My oldest is 20, my youngest is 12, and I'm also a first grade teacher. And I have boys who love reading, big readers. And most of the time, I would read the books alongside them. So I always was aware of what they were reading, what they had access to, what they were checking out at the library. And I know that's not for everybody. Not everybody's able to do that, but I was. And that's something that I want to kind of piggyback on what Councilwoman Cohen said is, you know, we have a choice. We just want to make sure that everything is available across the board as an educator. We want both sides. So if you feel like there are books that are representing your point of view, bring that up to the library, let the library board know, because we want it to be equal access to everybody. And again, it should be there. It's your decision whether or not you want to access or read it or check it out or have your kids read it or check it out. That's something that's the choice that we have. But I appreciate y'all coming out. Go Birds. Have a great evening and drive safe. Thank you.
Motion that,
Motion to adjourn. Everybody? Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
all in favor?
Oh, aye.
Um,